What's up, everyone? This is Raine Cruz, and it's time for the Rain Check with UNF rising star Christian Dighero. Hi, Christian. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me on the Rain Check because it is fight week, Christian, and I'm excited to have you despite your busy schedule. How is the preparation going for your upcoming UNF Rising Stars Bantamweight Championship bout at UNF 26?
Yeah, it's going amazing. Preparation is pretty much all over. That's why I love Fight Week, is just because all the hard work is behind me already. I put in weeks and weeks and months of just, grinding and just torture pretty much. So Fight Week's here. I pretty much just get to focus on cutting the weight, which is, another form of torture in itself. But, we've been dialed in for a bit now. So weight isn't too much of an issue, just pretty much getting to the fight healthy. And this is where the excitement starts to creep in a little bit. I get to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I finally get to do what I love to do. So yeah, just excited now at this point.
Ooh, that's good. And I'm excited to announce you this Saturday at UNF 26. Now, Christian, you mentioned cutting weight. I'm
Mhm.
just curious. You mentioned it's part of the process. It might be some sort of like a torture sometimes. But is there like a specific food, though, that you normally eat during fight camp that you kind of look forward to?
Um, yeah, I'm big on coffee.
Oh,
So I love coffee. I'm actually very passionate about coffee too. Maybe one day I'll have my own coffee shop. So every morning I get to have just my nice little cup of coffee, maybe even a few cups of coffee. Um, yeah, I make a really nice latte, put some honey in there, cinnamon, sometimes vanilla. I mix it up a lot, so I get kind of creative with the way that I make my coffee. So that's kind of one little thing of enjoyment that I get to have every morning. It kind of holds me over. I have a big sweet tooth, so I like to make my coffee a little sweet sometimes. That's one thing that just keeps me a little bit sane during fight camp when I have to have a pretty strict diet. I'm able to have my coffee in the morning, and it kind of gets me going throughout the day, and I really enjoy that. So that's one thing where I get to have during fight camp, and yeah, I look forward to it every morning.
yeah, I like the healthy sweetener too. You put honey in it. That
Yeah,
sounds
honey,
amazing.
some stevia sometimes. It just depends. But yeah, I mix it up a lot. I get pretty creative with the way I make my coffees.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'd say I definitely like go to sleep every night looking forward to waking up and having my coffee. So it's one thing I get to enjoy still.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Now, on your Instagram page, you posted a picture of you as a kid, and right
Hmm.
next to it is a picture of you holding a UNF belt with the caption July 26th, I compete in my final amateur fight for the up next fighting title. Now, I'm
Hmm.
not going to like read a whole caption. I'm just going to let you talk about it. For those of you who have not seen this post, why is July 26th your final amateur fight, Christian?
Yeah, I've had a lot of experience as an amateur, a lot of good moments, some losses that I've gotten to learn from a lot, and I feel like those losses really happened at a good time because my plan was to go pro after those fights.
Mm.
But those losses kind of taught me that maybe at the time I wasn't ready. But I think in agreement with my coaches, this is really the time that I'm ready to go pro. I feel like I've had the right amount of experience. I've had enough time to build up my skills, build up my confidence, and it's just time to go pro for me. So after I win this belt, this final belt, in my final amateur fight, I think it's finally time to go pro later this year. And yeah, like I said in the caption, start making my way towards the UFC, which has been the goal since I've been a little kid.
That's amazing, dude. I know. I feel like you've manifested your dream because your
Hmm.
picture as a kid, you're basically kind of like you had your arms up, kind of like
Yeah.
holding a title, right? And then right next to it is a picture of you holding a physical belt, an up next fighting belt. I love how you manifest stuff for you, Christian. That's amazing. I remember I interviewed you at UNF's Content Day a few months ago, or no, last month, I believe,
Hmm.
and you mentioned something that only a few fighters have told me. You said, Rain, I love doing interviews because this is how it's going to be in the UFC.
Mhm.
I've only heard that from probably a handful of fighters. I want to say you might be like the third fighter who told me that. And honestly, I think that's such a great mindset. Where did that mindset come from?
Yeah, just following the sport since I was a kid, I watch pretty much every interview of every fighter of every UFC fight card. And I know that it's almost a skill to do this, it's a skill to talk to other people, to promote
Mhm.
yourself. So I relish every opportunity to, promote myself, to talk about the fights, to get those reps in, because I know once I get to the UFC, there's media days where you're doing, hundreds of interviews, being asked the same questions. So just getting those reps in and being comfortable talking in front of a camera, something that I'm grateful for, people like you who have me on your show to talk about myself really. And but yeah, so I've just grown up seeing the amount of media that some of these fighters have to do, and if I want to be the level of fighter that I know I can and will be, I know I have to do this side of it too. So yeah, that's kind of just where that mindset comes from. And yeah.
Did you ever practice in front of the mirror? Kind of like you
Oh, for
just like how to
yeah,
talk.
100%. As a kid, I would be like, talking to myself, almost like asking myself questions and then answering them, and, trying to look cool, trying to, see what would be like a cool answer and stuff. So yeah, I always, as a kid, I would practice interviews. I'd practice everything. I would, from the walkout to like even faking taking pictures with fans, interviews. I would literally do every part of something associated with fighting. I would practice. I would run through in my head. And so yeah, I've done just about everything as far as manifesting.
Wow. That's impressive. That's like a mindset of a champion right there. Because you
Yeah,
can visualize it and you're actually doing it.
yeah. A lot of the things that come true in real life, I've seen a million times in my head. Like I said, I've manifested just about everything that
Mhm.
has happened as far as my amateur career. So I look forward to taking that into the pro career. And it's not even I don't even put too much thought about it. It's kind of just the way I'm wired at this point. This
Mm.
is really all I think about. So it's not even like I have to force manifesting these things. It's really just all that runs through my head. So it's just routine for me.
That means it's your destiny, man.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you have a very impressive resume as an amateur fighter. 6 out of your 7 victories are by way of stoppage.
Mhm.
Do you have any favorite fights or winning moments out of your submission and knockout victories?
Mm, I like to listen to greats of all sports, and one person who I've kind of followed and like to just listen to is someone. His name is Tom Brady, obviously the GOAT
Mhm.
of American football, and he always says the next one. So I'm gonna say the next one is gonna be my favorite. But in reality, I am a pretty big fan of myself. I watch all of my fights, after they're done, probably hundreds of times. I'd say my favorite highlight so far has to be the Quest Truxton one. I think he's a great opponent, a good person as well. But just the way I did like a John Jones versus Machida, I guillotined him, and then he was like unconscious and just dropping his body and walking away. That was probably my favorite highlight that I've had in my own so far.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I feel like every one of my fights has a little bit of a story behind it. So there's always these little nuggets of these fights where I like to pick and choose. I'm like, man, that was a cool moment. Even just like a 1 second clip of something that I did that I've done in practice a bunch of times. I'm like, man, that's cool. It came into fruition into the fight. So um yeah, I'd say the quest is probably my favorite highlight. But yeah, the next one is gonna be my favorite one.
Okay, okay. Now take me back to your debut bout. Was
Mhm.
that how you kind of envision it? Because it ended pretty quick, Christian.
Yeah, yeah. So I took that fight maybe like a month or a month and a half after my 18th birthday, and
Mm,
you have to be 18 to compete in amateur mixed martial arts. And the guy who I was fighting, I want to say he was like 25, 26. Already had like 3 fights, which is kind of uncommon to be fighting in your debut. You usually fight someone who who's also making their debut, someone who's 1-0, someone who's 0-1. So it was a little bit, I was like a little bit confused by the booking, but it ended up going well. I finished the fight, I want to say in around like 40 seconds, hit him with a nice step back right hook that dropped him, and then I finished him with a armbar off of my back. And yeah, it was just a cool moment. I had a big crowd for my first fight. um, and yeah, just something that I envisioned for a super long time, and it was just I was very excited. Just being 18, I feel like I was such like a kid at the time, and yeah, it was just I went crazy after the fight, and definitely enjoyed. But um, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to recall because it feels like so long ago, but I also do remember like certain little moments about it very vividly. But yeah, good time and good opponent, and yeah, fun to look back. I'm gonna have to rewatch that one a few times again before this
Yeah.
weekend.
I mean, it's a short clip because it's like, it's like around 44 seconds, I believe, when you finish
Yeah,
that fight. So so it's easy to watch it over and over again.
yeah, and I definitely did.
Now, Christian, you train at Black House MMA, and there's a lot of great UNF fighters from that gym. Who is your favorite sparring partner from Black House?
Good question. Good question. Who's my favorite sparring partner? We're blessed to be able to have fighters travel from all over the world to train with us. There's a lot of guys from like Kazakhstan, from Armenia, from literally all over the place, Brazil, who come and train. But one who's just been consistent, who's here every week, who, you know, doesn't skip a practice. Albert Morales, I'd say like the team leader almost here. He's here every week. He's teaching privates in the morning. He's here right now. I'm actually here at the gym right now, as you can see, or right here somewhere. Yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
Um, he's here teaching privates early in the morning. He's here after practice. So I'd say Albert Morales is probably my favorite training partner. He could grapple, he can strike, he can push the pace. He's going with heavyweights, then he'll train with bantamweights. And so, yeah, Albert Morales is probably my favorite sparring partner. Um, and yeah, just a good guy overall. I'm sure you know too. So I'd say Albert Morales.
Yeah, shout out to the Belizean warrior,
Oh, yeah.
Albert Morales. Such an amazing fighter from Black House MMA. Now, I know fighters usually ask Dana White to call them, the usual, hey,
Mhm.
Dana, call me. But I'm going to ask you to call out a brand or sponsor that you want to partner with. Which brand would be a perfect sponsor for Christian Dighero?
Which brand? Good question. Hmm.
Like
Let
maybe
me
like
think about
maybe like
this.
something athletic or maybe some like, maybe some supplements, or anything random.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Mhm.
go with AeroPress. They make coffee. They make it's like a miniature coffee machine. That's what I use currently to make my espressos. And I really want their newest version of the AeroPress. So AeroPress, I'm passionate about coffee. I love you guys. I use your tool every morning to make my coffee. So please help me out. Make me a partner with you guys. And yeah, I'd say AeroPress. Love you guys.
Call Christian Dighero,
Oh
future
yeah.
UFC fighter right here. Call him right
Mhm.
now.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Now, I saw another picture on your Instagram page, and I thought this one's really special because it's you dedicating your championship belt to your dad.
hmm
What was the best lesson that you learned from your father that you apply in your life and in your life as a fighter?
Um, I'd say just support. He always showed support. He was always at my all of my competitions as a kid. I even recall he lost like one of his best friends the day of one of my fights as a kid, and he still showed up to come to my fight that night, and I could just remember like seeing tears in his eyes, and he was obviously heartbroken by the loss of a good friend of his, but he still showed up to support me. So I'd say just being there for the people who you care about, supporting the people who you care about, and loving them unconditionally, because that's what he did to me. So that's definitely something that, he didn't necessarily teach me, but he showed me with his actions, and
Mm.
it's just kind of carried over into me as well. And I'm grateful and just blessed to have a lot of family who supports me no matter what. Even my family who works hard, who maybe lives paycheck to paycheck, they still come out and support me for all my fights, and they make sure they're there to support me, which it means the world to me, because they could be saving that money for their kids. They could be saving that money for just a little bit of extra money for next month's rent or whatnot, but they choose to come and support me. So um I'm just, yeah, blessed to have the people in my life who are in my life, and I definitely look forward to repaying them one day when I can. Yeah, so that's always the goal, is just to give back to those who support me, and yeah, that's probably my main motivator, I'd say.
Ah, that's beautiful. And I
Yeah,
know he's proud of you, Christian.
thank you.
He's watching your fights, from up above, and he's proud of you. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
appreciate that.
you mentioned, your family supporting you in your life as a fighter. Um, what is your message for them? And then which one in your family is your biggest supporter?
Yeah, my message to them would just be thank you. Like, just so grateful, like, that these people are in my life, and especially these fight weeks when I don't have really much to do other than to cut weight and just be by myself. One of the things that is on my mind is just gratitude. I'm just grateful to have these opportunities to chase my dreams. I'm so passionate about the sport that I'm able to do, and yeah, so just thank you. And my message is just, you know this is all for you guys. This is all to one day provide a better life for them. I have a lot of little cousins. I have little sisters who I just, nothing more than I just want to provide an amazing life for them. I was blessed to grow up with a good mom, a good support system, and I just want to give back to them too. So yeah, just, yeah, I'd say that. And number one supporter, it's hard to choose one because I have so many people who just like come to every fight no matter what. But
Mhm.
my mom, she sees me coming home from training every day. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood because I got my ass whooped at training. Sometimes I'm in a good mood, but she still just loves me, and she knows that um that every day. It comes in waves, So her and my girlfriend, I'd say, are definitely my biggest supporters, just because they love me unconditionally. They show support, and yeah, those two mean the world to me. And I just, like I keep saying, I just can't wait to give back to all of them one day.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah.
Real quick though, is there like a special meal that your mom makes whenever you're having a bad day from training?
Oh, she's an amazing baker, and I have the
Ooh.
biggest sweet tooth, so she'll make me brownies, cookies. She makes a really good like brownie, like Oreo mix. She just, anything sweet that you want, she'll make it, and she'll make it the best that you've ever had. So, yeah, she definitely helps me out with my sweet tooth. It's a little bit troubling when I'm trying to cut weight, So, but other than that, yeah, she'll literally. I'm like, Mom, I'm craving some brownies. Within 45 minutes, they'll be out of the oven and ready for me to just kill the whole thing. So yeah, she's an amazing baker.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm pretty sure she's gonna be making a lot of brownies once
Oh
you win
yeah,
that championship belt, right?
yeah.
This Saturday.
We
That's
got a good
amazing.
routine going, so like I don't even have to say anything. Just Sunday morning when I wake up, they're just on the counter ready. So yeah,
Oh my
I'm definitely
God.
looking forward to that.
And then with your espresso too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a hard time sleeping after fights, so Saturday night I'll probably be up till 4 in the morning, and I'll probably wake up around 6 in the morning, and I'll have a nice cup of coffee and some sweets to wake up to. So I'm looking forward to that.
And then this Sunday, it will be with a championship belt too, right? That's the
Oh
plan.
yeah, make it a little sweeter. I'll use that as a plate. Yeah.
There you go. Well, Christian, thank you so much for joining me today on the Rain Check. Guys, please do follow him on Instagram at Christian_Dighero, Dighero. And please do follow at Up Next Fighting on Instagram as well to keep to get latest news and updates from your favorite rising stars like this one right here, Christian Dighero. And please do not miss Christian Dighero versus Andrew Campos for the UNF Rising Stars Bantamweight Championship at UNF 26 on July 26th at the Burbank Marriott Event Center in Burbank, California. Get your tickets now on upnextfighting.com and catch the historic moment as Christian Dighero fights his final amateur bout before he turns pro. And then from there, he's going to make it into the UFC. Right, Christian?
That's right.
Amen to that. Well, he is Christian Dighero. I am Raine Cruz. This is the Rain Check, and we are checking out. Bye.